offense so far?
Well, when you got, as always, now like last year, you got new coaches. Whatever you got new players. So whether it be Isaiah going from right to left, new center, you're working through the quarterbacks, new tight end. You got a lot of skill guys back. You don't overdo the tailbacks. You know the good players. So how much live do you really do? You're sometimes playing two-hand tag, touch. We do a lot of third down situations where it's third and long. So sometimes it can look yucky, like not very good. But that's also a little bit of the nature of where you're at. What you're trying to do is figure out who you can count on, build your depth, start building the momentum and the continuity that you need. So right now, it's disjointed, but I think that's kind of normal. You're also going against a very good defense every day. So it's been good. Today, for example, first part of practice, inside running period, very physical, very, very good. A blitz pickup period, we do very, very good. As we got in the team, maybe a little sloppy, sluggish. So there's some ebb and flow, but we got a lot of work to do, and we got a long way to go. We got a bunch of good players. We just got a lot of work to do to get it all together. We got a lot of time.
Kevin, I think a lot of people are interested with the new dynamic or no new dynamic between you and Ryan, considering that he almost left and got a promotion to stay. What's that like from your perspective to see somebody's title change and to have an impact on you, and does it have any impact on you?
There's always been too many titles. I worked at a lot of places where we could never give anybody a pay raise. We always gave you a title, to make it look better. So at the end, it's about how you work as a group. It's kind of how we've always done it offensively, whether it be here last year, previously at every stop I've been. Coach Meyer's always a big part of what we do offensively. Us two kind of work together with run thoughts, pass thoughts a little bit. I'm with maybe Coach Studrawa, some with the run game. I know Ryan's with Coach Smith, and we're kind of putting the pass game together, trying to blend it together. So it's a little bit of a blend, but we're kind of working kind of the way we've worked. And, nothing's really changed except we're just practicing and balling right now.
You were an up-and-comer a long time ago as an assistant coach.
What happened? That's my prime.
Yeah, and then you were a head coach of up-and-comers, and how does that all
now
fit?
I'm a down and outer?
No. That's what I'm asking me. You don't know how
You're
it
killing me. Is this like a funeral?
I'm just asking, is it an ongoing thing of making things fit and having guys have their voice heard? And
No, because quite honestly, we have a lot of voices that has to become solidary with one voice as we walk out of the room. So there's a lot of ideas. I would always say, like in years past, I would always say, all I'm doing is thinking out loud, and I got a lot of stupid thoughts. How about this? How about this? How about this? How about this? But at the end, you got to put it together. And what you got to put together is what you can block and what your quarterback can do. So if you can block it and your quarterback can handle it, you can do it. Now the offense, in my opinion, and we're moving and growing, it's not changing. There's not new terminology. There's not a lot of new plays. You emphasize, which is something I've always been a part of, what players can do. So you emphasize what your line, what your left tackle can and can't do, what your quarterback can and can't do. And with the new tight end, what do those guys bring in the position? And is that guy a part of the core? Is he flexed out? What does Paris Campbell bring? You emphasize what those skill players do, but at the end, what can you block? What can the quarterback handle? And we're going to get that line right. It's got a chance to be good. It's got a ways to go. It's got a chance to be good. And there's three guys fighting the quarterback that are going to give us a chance. And at the end of the day, there'll be one solid voice of this is the Ohio State offense. And that's the way it was when I got here. Coach Meyer said, here's our offense. Nothing's really changed with that.
Yeah. Kevin, how would you evaluate the first year, last year with you and Ryan and just running this offense, putting it together? As you look back, how do you think it went? Like what grade would you give, or what kind of job do you think overall you guys did calling the offense?
Well, we didn't quote win every game, so you got to take ownership of that. You can always point fingers, well, this or this or this or this. But I think last year we were first in the conference in basically every stat. And last year, matter of fact, in my world as an offensive guy, that's the third Big Ten offense I've been a part of that led the conference in offense. The 2015 Indiana team did. The 2000 Northwestern team did. So to me, it was a very, very good offense. It's only a great offense. We got a Big Ten championship. Don't minimize that. Got a Cotton Bowl championship. Had some significant wins. Also came up short. And when you come up short, you can sit and point fingers. I always took it from where I was in years past. If we come up short, we didn't score enough points. So at the end of the day, as good as we were, and there's a lot of good stats. We didn't score enough to be as great as we wanted to be, and that's our goal this year, is to keep pushing to find that a little bit more, to find a few more points and to find a way without being arrogant to nudge and even get another win or two if it's possible.
You've gone to new places. In year 2, what's different in year 2?
A lot more comfort level just with expectation of drills, what's going on, knowing the players, what they can and can't do, knowing the coaches and the strengths and weaknesses, how to work together. Last year, you're kind of jockeying and filling things out. And at the end of the day, as a guy that's been an assistant but a head coach, you're working hard to give Coach Meyer what he wants because he's the head coach. And I had one of my great assistant coaches said, my job is assistant coach. That means I assist the coach. And that's the way I took my job this year. I'm trying to assist and give Coach Meyer what he wanted. Thought we did a good job, all of us together. And as we've changed some titles or things, we're all working hard together with the same group that hopefully this year we had a very strong offense. Hopefully this year we can be more dynamic, and that's the goal.
Kevin, do those titles really not matter to you? I mean, I guess people thought you might have been offended by.
Well, my daughter called and thought I got fired, and I was like, "Hey," I go, but no. I mean, seriously, she had a panic attack for a second. I go, "We're good," but we got to be better. But no, I mean, titles matter because perception versus reality. I came out of a job a year ago with perception versus reality.
Right.
So perception versus reality. And at the end of the day, reality, we had a very good offense that's got to find a way to be better. That doesn't point to anyone else. Got to find a way to put those guys together week after week after week to try to be the best we can and maybe try to be the best in college football. But first, we got to be the best we can. And it starts with the staff that understands how to work together. That's where you got to check the egos. There ain't no titles, but it's everybody working together for the common good at a great place to try to win a game and try to win a championship and maybe be good enough to try to get them all.
So Kevin, is the reality that your position is the same no matter what it's called? Does that make sense?
In my mind, I'm doing my job and hopefully doing it better because I know my guys. And doing it and working Clayton again. Like I said, we got a lot of work to do offensively to get this thing going. But I think we got a tremendous group of guys that respect each other. We're going to work in that room really good together. I think Coach Meyer has a solid comfort level, but he's going to give us direction on exactly where he wants us to keep going as we go. And then we're going to work like heck to take it to those players and get those guys unified to put us because the offense ultimately has to play together.
Kevin,
it's our job to get that connection.
Did you talk with Urban? Did you feel the need to sit down with Urban and or Ryan and say, okay, he's got this raise, he's got this promotion. How is this actually going to work? Has anything changed?
I haven't had any of those conversations because I didn't feel I needed to run in like, hey, we talked to Coach briefly about it, and I said, hey, I get it. I've been there where you're doing things you can that's best for the team. And Coach Meyer, I know every decision Coach Meyer makes is what he feels is ultimately best for the team. And I know it's my job to make sure I'm doing everything I can to give him my best to help this team win those games.
Kevin, what have you seen?
So there was not a bunch of sit-down conversations.
Okay. I don't get the sense you're a big ego guy, but I would imagine.
I got one.
Yeah, well, I would imagine.
If we don't score every time, I'm kind of, anyway.
Was that bruised at
but
all?
I can change. No, what? Again, I just, for the job that we've done in the previous years, to sit here and think that we're not doing. No, we're without being arrogant. As a coach, we do a lot of thumb pointing, and we take ownership for things that we can do better. But we also know that we've done a lot of good things that we're proud of them. And as coaches, we're always growing, getting better. And so, my ego is such that I just don't want perception to taint a family and a coach that has put a whole lot into a solid career, trying to help a lot of teams, help a lot of kids. And we'll go with it.
Kevin, you guys have 3 quarterbacks with 3 distinct skill sets, or very different skill sets from what it seems. Is there any truth to the idea that no matter who wins the job, the offense is going to be different based on who they are?
I think you play to the strengths, and it's where I'm from anyway, because I've had different styles. Like I got hired at Oklahoma because we ran the ball, and Jason White blew out a knee, and we never did. But the plays didn't change. But now instead of reading the end, we're blocking in and throwing an RPO. So it'll be a lot of the same running game and a lot of the same protections. It's like maybe the protection doesn't change, but the route concept that guys are comfortable, and you still have to attack the field and have balance. But if certain guys throw certain concepts better, you emphasize those. You still have to balance the field and attack the defense. In the run game, you still run the offense. Or you design quarterback running, or are you reading it in and him pulling it, or are you blocking and reading a secondary level player where it's more of an RPO? It's still the same offense. the read has changed based on the strength of the quarterback. And that's why, to me, I never thought it was that big a deal, because it's subtle tweaks that then give the skill guys what a chance. For example, a year ago, Coach said DeMario McCall playing tailback wasn't a great pass blocker. Well, every time I had him in, I went 5-man protection, and he didn't have to block nobody. He was a free route runner. So, okay, he can't block that great, we'll make him a route runner, because half our passes are 5-man protections. So I didn't ask him to block a lot, and it played to his strength. The offense didn't change. I emphasized what that kid could do, and that's why as we go through these quarterbacks, we'll just emphasize what we can do. Right now, we got to keep building them up, because they got a long way to go.
Two more questions for me, because I'm just trying to understand. So 2 years ago, before you got here in 2015, JT and Cardale Jones kind of switched back and forth a little bit, and it seemed as if the offense had a really hard time figuring out who to accentuate.
Well, what's tough if you do this offense? So think about it. If you have one quarterback that does, you say, this offense, and then another quarterback does, quote, this offense, okay? Well, then when you're practicing, your first team and second team are running two different deals. All of a sudden, a right guard's got to play with the first team, or the second Z receiver's got to play the first. They have to run the same plays. They learn the same stuff. And then all you do is emphasize what the quarterback can do. Is he pulling, or is he flipping it out?
But if you take out a guy that ran the ball 15 times a game and was a huge part of the offense from a keeping the ball and running it up the middle of the offense type of thing, that's going to be a dramatically different looking offense, because you took away the piece that's different is the guy who was touching the ball every game.
Yeah,
Am I understanding that?
Correct, but you say, like, so for example, I go through, because basically we kind of ran the same offense at my previous school. So all of a sudden, when I had a quarterback that wasn't a great runner, there was two kids with 1,000 yards, because those carries went to the second tailback. You know, and it was blocked and ran, and then all of a sudden we were, instead of the quarterback pulling and keeping it, he was throwing it, and that's why he had 3 receivers with over 50 catches. But it was still inside zone, power, G play. It was the same plays, but where the ball got distributed. And so again, as we go, the offense isn't changing. We're going to develop what we got, and then those quarterbacks, in time, we put it together to. Is it red? Is it run? Is it you do a little bit of both?
So it's no big deal then, whoever wins the job.
Well, it is a big deal, because one, you better be good enough to be a champion and be a leader.
I just mean
One last question for someone.
Would you imagine that of these 3 quarterbacks, no matter who is playing, would any of them in a game probably run it as much as JT ran for you guys?
Well, heck yeah! If you're not blocking him like today, he's running around for his life the whole time. So I mean, you know,
But would you imagine that it would be likely that there would be less situations where that quarterback in the read game would keep it compared to what JT did? Or could it be that we see, no matter...
There's going to be reads in the run game, because the box is always going to get overloaded. So the reads are him running it or him taking it and throwing it. So there's going to be reads, and based on the situation, there might be some situations where I don't care who the quarterback is, the quarterback's going to have to read it and pull it and run with the football, period. No matter who the quarterback is. There's going to be situations where a guy's going to have to throw the football, no matter who the quarterback is. But in the end of the day, you will emphasize the quarterback's talents of running skill set, throwing skill sets as he makes reads.
We keep looking
And
at
and it's not going to be. It's going to be a great offense.
we keep looking at Dwayne and Joe as the front runners, but what if Tate Martell? What have you seen of Tate Martell this spring compared to a year ago that maybe puts him in contention?
Well, again, because he has a skill set where he can move around. He is a dynamic athlete. Right now, as all freshmen, it's a little overloaded once in a while. There's some mental things, so he's kind of learning and growing, but he's not going to be a, quote, option quarterback. He can throw the ball. He is very dynamic with the ball in his hand running, but I know with Coach Day and Coach Day's ability to coach quarterbacks, he's bringing him along strong in the pass game. And Tate would be a guy that maybe the run gets emphasized a little bit more, but he's going to be a complete quarterback.